Welcome, everyone, to the Free Fall Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Smith, and today is episode 5. We're going to dive right into it. I haven't posted in a while, but I wanted to get on here and share my thoughts with you guys and kind of just share some ideas I've had lately that have been really helping me. Those of you that are not new to the podcast, thank you for tuning in. And those of you that are new to the podcast, we are a self-improvement podcast. I usually have a guest or a co-host on. I do not today. I'm flying solo, so I'm going to see how that works out and see maybe if the theme is a little bit different. And if you guys like that, drop a comment down below. That being said, I wanted to jump right into the podcast and kind of explain where my head's been at lately. I have been in a really good mental space. I'm really focusing on getting to that next chapter in my life, that next level in my life to unlock some things that are going to, be beneficial to me. And a lot of it is mental. It's mental warfare, right? So first thing I wanted to talk about was in the overall theme of today. I wrote some notes down to kind of keep me on track because I don't have a co-host to do that today. But I wanted to talk about the little things that matter, right? So it is the little things in life that add up to the big things. We've all heard that before, but I wanted to kind of discuss the specifics on that today. So one of the things I wanted to really relay, I heard the other day that really resonated with me, was the fact that somebody said it might have been on a podcast or a YouTube video or whatever it was, but this guy said that your personality is actually your personal reality. And I'd never heard it that way before. And it was really astounding to me when I heard it. And it really is so true that your personality is basically all encompassing in the fact of it makes your life the way it is. So if you don't have a good personality, your personal reality is going to be bad. So if you're a negative person all the time and everything, you have a victim mentality and everything's always the world's against you, that's essentially what's going to happen. The world is going to be against you and you are going to become a victim, right? Because that's your personal reality. So I thought that was really cool. I wanted to share that first and foremost. But the other thing that I wanted to kind of touch base with is how you do one thing is how you do everything, okay? If you are the type of person that, and I specifically wanted to talk about this, I have some friends, some coworkers, and there seems to be a theme lately because the economy in the world is really bad right now. It's not the greatest it's been. It's only going to get worse. And a lot of people are tired of their 9-to-5 job. And it's a very difficult space to be in when you feel like you don't have control of that, but you do have control of that. And I wanted to share some of the things that I used to kind of better my circumstances and change my situation to make me a happier person. The first thing I started focusing on was obviously the little things, but how you interact at, whether it's your job, your environment, if you're on a team, if you're doing something within a group, or maybe you have a job that you work at home, right? Is your organization and how you operate on a day-to-day basis with the little things, as far as, okay, let's use an example. Somebody drops something at work, maybe it's a piece of garbage, right? Now you're walking by that at work, whether you're in a factory or you're in a corporate setting. Now you didn't drop that piece of garbage, but are you the type of person that's going to stop and pick that up because you want to work in an environment that's clean and organized? You take pride in your workplace? Or are you the type of person that's going to keep walking and say, no, it's not my problem. I didn't do it. It's not my responsibility. Somebody will clean it up. And I think that those little things that people don't think about add up to make a big picture. A lot of people talk about they want to be financially free. They want to run their own business. They want to be somewhere in life. And they talk as if once they get to that opportunity that they're magically going to change who they are as a person. And it unfortunately does not work like that. In order for you to get to those opportunities, you have to become that person before you get there. So what does that mean? Okay, if you don't believe that you're the type of person that has to stop and pick up the garbage and you don't take pride in your workplace, how are you going to take pride in your own business? How are you going to take pride on a level where everyone's doing that? And you're the oddball out. You're not going to either last there or you're not even going to get that opportunity in the first place. So it's important to realize that, I think my fan's being pretty loud, this laptop, I got to fix that. It's important to realize that where you are at in life is exactly your mindset, right? So if you are complaining about your circumstances, or maybe you're not complaining, you're not that type of person, but you just want to better yourself, right? If you just want to better yourself, you want a better lifestyle, you want and I don't know a lot of people who don't want that, right? And you can lie to yourself and say, well, it doesn't matter. I'm happy, blah, blah, blah. That's bullshit. Everybody wants more for themselves. They want more money. They want more happiness. They want more success. And part of the way to get there is understanding that where you currently are in life is exactly a representation of your mind, your current mindset. Okay. So you can't really upgrade yourself until you change yourself intrinsically. So you have to take it upon yourself to actively try to become a better person, which this is a great example of how to do that, listening to podcasts like this. And that's what I did to get to the point where I'm happier than I once was. Now, am I where I want to be in life? Not completely. I'm not there yet, but am I making strides to be a better person? Absolutely. And how did I do that? I looked up towards people. I listened to people. I started trying to get feedback, and I want my audience, I want my community, people who listen to me, who choose to listen to me, to understand that that's what I'm trying to do, and they can do the same thing, whether it's with consuming my content or consuming other people's content. But you have to actively look for ways to improve yourself mentally and physically. Okay, I've been a personal trainer for many years, over a decade, and I have understood that there is a close connection between being physically fit and being mentally fit. You have to have both, right? It's really hard to have one or the other. But on the mental aspect, this is kind of later in my life, I've learned that it's just as important, if not more important, right? So your mental has to be fit. And how do you do that? You actively search for ways to better yourself. And sometimes that means being conscious of how you're acting on a day-to-day basis. So in the workplace, perfect example, if you're a dude, right, and you're going and you're taking a piss in the bathroom and you fucking pee on the toilet seat, wipe that shit up, dude. Like, those are the little things that add up to be your character, right? Pick up that piece of trash in the back break room. Like, do that shit, because it's going to translate to you being a more successful, better version of yourself. And I cannot harp on that single concept hard enough, because it literally changed my life when I started thinking that way. And a lot of people think that, I'll take pride in my business someday when I'm there and blah, blah. It's not going to happen, guys. It's never going to happen. You're never going to magically just transform into the person you want to be. It's not going to happen. You're not going to just be a famous singer, famous this, and be super successful unless you do the little things to allow yourself to become that person. So many people want the end result, but they're not willing to put in the work in between. And you have to put in the work in between, because that's how you become that person. And that shit is hard. And that's why everyone doesn't do it, because it is hard and it's annoying and it's tedious, and you have to be consistent and all the shit that nobody wants to do anymore. You have to be that type of person that takes it upon yourself to take the initiative to become that type of person. All right. So like I said, I wanted to keep this short, and I really wanted to send that message out in the world, and maybe somebody needed to hear that. I just felt like I needed to get on here, and that is kind of it's been a couple months since I uploaded, but I wanted to really relay that in this episode today, episode 5, right? So I'm gonna probably wrap it up there. I don't want to ramble too much. I wanted to really get that out there, and I just felt like I needed to say that. Okay, take pride in yourself, your work environment, and your environment will change for the better. I promise it'll happen. So we're going to kind of wrap it up there. Guys, if you are watching my podcast, if you're new to the podcast, please, can you subscribe to the channel or like it? It does crazy amounts of good for me on the algorithm and all that stuff. You've heard the spiel, but I really need to get my message out there. I want to have some guests on here. Unfortunately, some of the guests that I've tried to have on here have been busy with life stuff. That's understandable. But I'm going to try to get some really good guests on here, and I want them to have a platform that's, has a decent amount of people for them to get their message out, because that's what it's all about, right? I am B Smith Flex on social media. If you want to go follow me on social media, if you want to possibly be on the podcast, if you want to, talk about yourself, if you're doing some cool shit in life, hit me up on Instagram. It's B Smith Flex, or you can email me at freefallmindset@gmail.com if you guys want to collaborate. Thank you so much for listening. I will have another episode, hopefully with a guest or / co-host. I'm going to try some new co-hosts out in the future and see what we can do with that. But thank you guys for watching, and you guys have a beautiful day. Peace.